What is up, YouTube? AVI back in another video. Today we're going to bring you another car review, and this is a 2024 Kia Sportage LX. And if you guys are keeping up to date with the channel, you'll know that we already did a Kia Sportage review, but this one is a more stripped down version of the one that we've done. We did a 2023 EX, so if you haven't seen that video, click somewhere up here. But let's get to it. We're going to show you some of the noteworthy things on this LX that might be different than the EX. Let's get to it. In typical AVI fashion, we're going to be starting with the engine. So let's talk about that 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine. That produces 187 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. It is completely normally aspirated, no turbos, no superchargers, no nothing. It's paired with an 8-speed auto, a little bit more on that later, and it is good for 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds, which is pretty slow compared to the competitors. The Honda CR-V and the Mazda CX-50 are about 8 seconds 0 to 60. All right, let's start talking about some of the trims available on the Kia Sportage, because there are a lot. Not to mention the hybrid and plug-in hybrid options. There are 7 trims. This one that we're looking at is the lowest trim, the LX. We also have the EX, the X-Line, the SX, the XX Prestige, the X Pro, and the X Pro Prestige. So there are a ton to choose from. Those MSRPs rank anywhere from $28,000 all the way up to $40K with that top trim, the X Pro Prestige. All-wheel drive is also available on every single trim, but it is standard with those X models, the X Line, the X Pro, and the X Pro Prestige. Let's talk about some of those features that are not here on this base model Kia Sportage LX. All right, let's talk one of my favorite things about the Kia Sportage, this LED daytime running light, which looks super aggressive and definitely stands out from the rest of the crowd. Another thing to mention is these fully LED headlight here, which is standard across all models. One thing that is not standard and only get on the top 3 trims is an LED fog light. If you option for this base model or anything a little bit higher, you will not get any fog light here and just be replaced with some plastic cladding. Let's talk tires now on this Kia Sportage. As we mentioned, this is the base model. With that base model, you will get 17-inch alloy wheels here, but across the trims, you do get 2 other size options, 18 and even a 19-inch rim. But honestly, for this base model, this 17-inch alloy wheel looks pretty modern, I would say, and I think it doesn't matter that you're getting a base trim because the rims still look pretty good. The main complaints about the Kia Sportage is actually gas mileage. Regardless of the trim, this gas mileage is actually not great for that tiny little 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine. It is 25 in the city, 33 on the highway. However, I mentioned we'll talk some hybrid numbers too, if that's something you're looking for. Hybrid can get up to 42 miles per gallon in the city and 44 on the highway. So I think if you're looking for fuel efficiency, probably go the hybrid option, because this is not going to give that to you. Another styling feature of this Kia Sportage is actually the silver accents near the windows. And what's interesting is only the first 2 options, the base 2, the EX and the LX, get this silver kind of look, which actually looks pretty good. The others are gloss black across all of the upper trims. Another noteworthy thing of the Kia Sportage is actually the key. One thing is, if you go to the grocery store and you want to lock your car, you typically press it once, and then just to make sure it's locked, you press it again. Normally it's a little tiny quiet beep on a normal car, but the Kia decides to honk the entire horn so the entire parking lot can hear when your car's locked. Let's hear that again. Pretty annoying. Another thing about this base LX trim is you got to use this bad boy. In the physical key, there's no key fob for the base model. So if you're looking for a key fob where you can just get in, push the button to go, this base model is not for you. One option that you do not get on this Sportage LX is a power lift gate. You have to physically lift the trunk, as well as some of the other trims. I believe the top 3 trims do have that option. Just put your foot under here if your hands are full of groceries, and the trunk will lift itself magically. But unfortunately, for the base one, you got to manually do it. Now let's come inside the interior and talk about everything this base model doesn't have that every other trim will have. Let's start with the steering wheel. This is not leather. Every other higher trim above this will have a leather wrapped steering wheel, which is actually pretty nice. You can option in the higher trims for a heated leather wrap steering wheel, but this, you'll just have to deal with this fake leather, or pleather as I like to call it. One other thing is the lack of a 12-inch screen here. So where I'm circling is actually a screen in the EX and higher trims, but instead you have buttons here, and you still do get an 8-inch touchscreen here that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but on the higher trims you do get a full 12-inch screen rather than this 8-inch. Another thing to mention is wireless Apple CarPlay is available for everything other than this base trim. So you don't have to use this cord like you're in the 90s. You can wireless charge it. And heated seats are an option for this LX here, but on this particular model, it does not have it. Every other option, every other trim has this as standard. One thing I will mention is on the interior for the EX, these are all built into a screen here that's a little touchscreen. These are physical buttons. And I will say, the base model, I do prefer having physical buttons so I don't have to go through menus and try to find exactly what I'm looking for. So I actually prefer the base model of these climate control settings right here. Another feature that comes with the Sportage is line assist when using the backup camera, and also a nice view of the AVI merch available on our website below, including stickers, magnets with free shipping, and a whole bunch of options for the shirts. Go check it out. So it's not all bad if you do option for this base model trim. There are a couple of cool features in here that are standard with this LX. The first being adjustable cup holders here that you can change the size based on your cup size. So that way, if you have a huge Yeti here or something, you'll be able to fit it regardless. Then if you want a little more secure fit, boom, you can adjust it to that. Other things that are pretty cool is auto high beam is standard on the LX. So you do have auto lights as well as auto high beams. And one of my personal favorites is a little song that plays for you when you turn off the car. Listen to this. Just makes you feel good. A couple of more luxury features that you will be missing out on if you do option for this base trim. The first being power seats. You will have to manually adjust your seat, which is actually much quicker than electronic, honestly. Another thing is you will get non-LED interior lights for the first two trims. And while we're talking ceiling, you do not get a sunroof on the LX trim, but higher trims do get option to that sunroof. But with that sunroof, you will lose a little bit of headroom here, so take it or leave it. Let me know in the comments which you guys prefer. I will say even the base Kia Sportage is a good place to be. Let's talk looks. Everything here is pretty modern looking. You do have some textured, material here, which does look pretty good. The screen is tilted a little bit towards the driver, so it is more driver focused, which I do love. And the full digital display here is pretty cool. One thing I do want to mention is the RPMs are represented in decimal. Not sure if I've ever seen that. Let me know in the comments if you guys have seen that. And as you increase your decimal RPMs, those lines do show to show you how fast you're going. The last noteworthy thing that I want to mention on the Kia Sportage is the overall trunk space and cargo space. This Sportage gets 39.6 cubic feet of space in the cargo. That is actually higher than the competitor of the CR-V. And another thing to mention is the back seats do go down for a 60-40 split, which gives you over 70 cubic feet of space. All right, let's talk final thoughts of the Kia Sportage LX. I will say personally, when I'm driving, I do miss a couple of features that you do get on the EX in higher trims, like heated seats, heated steering wheel, leather wrap steering wheel. I do really like those things, but the Apple CarPlay being standard is a great thing. My personal opinion is I would spend the extra couple of $1,000s to get a Honda CR-V rather than the Kia Sportage. But let me know in the comments, maybe this is the perfect price point, being a little bit more stripped down than the other trims. You can definitely save some pennies with that. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, make sure to go check out the merch. Thank you to Just Behind the Camera. And just like that, AVI out.